Welcome to the Backstage Athlete podcast. I am your host, Nikita Arjun. Today is a special day because it's the first episode, and I have a very special guest with me today. This person I have known my entire life. She's a professional golfer, probably one of the most hardworking people I know. My sister, Nikita Arjun. Um, Excited to have you here today. How you feeling?
Excited to be here. You almost made me cry with that intro.
I mean,
Gave me all the feels.
yeah, it's about trying to get people in their emotions.
But we forgot one part. The only professional athlete in the family.
You know what? Not to rub it in or anything. But yeah, so obviously I know your whole story,
Yeah.
and because I have witnessed it firsthand, and I'm honestly very excited for this conversation because I don't think we actually sit down and talk about real world things because we always goofing off all the time.
Yeah.
So just for the people who don't know much about you, just tell us where it all started with golf, career, basically everything.
Well, it started when I was 6 years old. I played tennis. We both did. And that was like for 6 years till I was 12. But I actually got introduced to golf in India. That's, of course, where we grew up. At the age of 7, I remember we were at our golf club and they had a bunch of kids together, and mom and dad took us as well. And they just kept calling out our names for some reason. Like, I don't know what was going on. Next thing I know, we're at a golf junior program. And I didn't really care much for golf at that time because tennis was I loved tennis. And then starting, I guess, a few years later, I started playing golf and tennis together, and then you followed me, like you always do.
I didn't really follow you, right? It was
Okay. But so I thought I could play, I was like, okay, I guess I could play golf and tennis professionally. I've always wanted to be a professional athlete. But it was just taking up so much time. So at 12, I was watching cartoons, and mom came up to me. She was like, you got to pick between tennis and golf right now. And I mean, if you catch a kid during watching cartoons, they're not really paying attention to you. So the first thing that came to my mind was golf. Long story. And then here we are, I'm playing professional golfer on the Epson Tour, which is a step below the LPGA. I went to college at Armstrong State, played in Savannah, Georgia. That was a Division II school. I was like one of the top players on the team for 2 years because Georgia Southern took over my senior year, so I didn't play my senior year. Represented India at the Callaway World Juniors when I was 17, and at Asia Pacific, and this tour called Albatross, and I was the team captain. So I was number 4 junior in India. So that's how it all started.
Okay. Yeah, I think I definitely remember those times when we actually started playing golf. Honestly, I mostly went for the free drinks they had in the middle of the, during the practice program.
Yeah. We take a break and they're like, oh, we have lemonade and Sprite
Yeah.
and Fanta.
Highlight of the time was like the free Coke we used to get.
Yeah.
Well, Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
For everyone. We didn't get free Coke, but but yeah, it's good times. So I know. So recently, the Simulator Tour became the Epson Tour.
Yeah.
So how does that affect you? With the whole, with the new, the changes after Epson started becoming the new title sponsor.
Yeah. So the new title sponsor actually has brought us a lot of more prize money. Like almost every event now is at least like $200,000 as purse. So that means first place gets more, and then they have this alumni program where the top 10 at the end of the year on the merit list get a good amount of money once they go into LPGA to like help them start playing in events. Yeah, There is another one, another pillar, which I don't remember right now. But I mean, all in all, it's been a positive change.
Yeah, I mean, I remember like the semester tour was like $500 an entry just to
Yeah.
get into each
Oh
tournament.
yeah, that reminds. So yeah,
Yeah.
they cut our entry fees by $50 too, so that helps.
But was it $50 or?
It's $4.50 now.
Okay, I thought it was, okay.
No.
You know more than me.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was, you've been professional for 3 years now, or is it 4 years?
Well, what I turned professional in August 2018, so 2019. We're gonna count out COVID years, so 3 years.
Yeah, so it's I've been there for some of those tournaments.
Yeah.
And it has been fun touring with you. What was like one of your favorite memories of, the times where we were like traveling around the East Coast and all that?
That was a lot. So what, you joined me with 2019 in what, Philadelphia? Or just outside of Philadelphia, like Pennsylvania, and I guess like I missed the cut. So we had an extra day there. So we went to downtown Philadelphia to to sightsee, and I was very excited to see the Rocky statue because we grew up watching it. But I was just surprised to see a huge line there. Um, the cheesesteaks.
Oh yeah, the cheesesteak under the bridge.
Under the bridge.
There's a drug deal going on in the back. Yeah, that's funny.
And we're like, get in there, eat your cheesesteak, and get out.
Yeah, it was a good cheesesteak though. Stop calling it cheesesteak.
Yeah.
From then on, we stopped calling it a Philly cheesesteak from that day on.
I had to make sure I didn't say Philly cheesesteak because we were in Philly. But from there we drove to South Bend, Indiana, and that cost a lot. That cost a lot. We took the toll road. It was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty, but it was also a hole in the wallet.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember there was like that huge 14-mile backup on that freeway. Do you remember that?
Yes.
On the other side of the road.
Oh yeah.
There were people going out and playing, like hitting golf balls around.
Yeah, I remember that.
On
I was
the
like,
freeway.
thank God I'm not in that one. But yeah, we drove through a ton of tunnels, which I loved. I love tunnels. So we did that, and I think we stopped in Cleveland just to, like, sightsee, and that was the first time I got ID'd to eat at a restaurant. Which, I mean, that's fine. It's a compliment, I guess. And we drove about 10 minutes outside Cleveland and to a gas station, and I saw my first police chase. No, yeah, it was a police chase. That was interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I remember of that trip.
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, we've definitely had some interesting stories to share throughout those travels.
Yeah.
Some of them obviously on the way to Denver. There were some things over there.
Which we're not gonna mention.
Yeah, we won't even talk about that. It was not my fault.
Okay.
But yep. But yeah, so you said that with the Epson Tour, right? The schedules are changing. They're adding more tournaments, is it? Or
No, I don't think so.
okay.
I think we have over 20 plus events starting, I think, starting end of February to October. So they added a few last year, so we just have the same things now.
Okay. So what's your schedule looking like now? I know you're going to Louisiana in March.
Yeah, so I'm gonna play the Women's All Pro Tour, which is a step below the Epson, like a stepping stone for the Epson Tour, where if you finish top 2 in an event, you get exemption to next Epson Tour event, and the top 5 on the money list at the end of the season in July get an exemption to stage 2 for Q School. So I'm gonna do that, and since I played Q School last year, I missed making the 4th day of stage 1 by 1 shot. So I don't really have good status, but I'm working on it. So and I work with Backswing golf events now since September of last year. just like an off season way, just a way to like fund myself in the off season. So I'm gonna do that between events, because they have a lot in Texas and Dallas. So that's our and some in Arizona. Once like I'm gonna travel 2 weeks, drive back, travel 3 weeks, drive back 16 hours
Yeah.
for like a week. So I mean,
It's a lot of driving. And backswing is they basically help raise funds for charity.
yeah. So
That's what they do.
backswing events is run by two women who were professional golfers. Their whole motto is make it happen, make it matter. So it's how it essentially works is golf outings around the country hire backswing to like raise money for charity, and backswing reaches out to the 100+ women golfers that they have on team. They reach out to one of us to say like, hey, like, are you guys here? Can someone work this? So we work it, and we try to raise as much money as we can for that charity. It's like, for example, a few months ago, I worked at a golf club in Chandler, Arizona, to raise money for the National Kidney Foundation. So like things like that. So Boys and Girls Club, National Kidney Foundation, we raise money for those charities, and it's like it's fulfilling.
That's cool. So I know the National Kidney Foundation, obviously that's this
Yeah, that
important part.
yeah, that
Yeah.
hit close to home, because like like Dad, he went through a few things, and then he was a kidney recipient back in India, and I wish I was there, but I just started my first semester at Spartanburg Methodist. That was what I spent my first year there. So since I can't be home to give back to the Kidney Foundation, as a way of saying thank you, I just thought like this is perfect. Like I can just do it here and like show how thankful I am.
Yeah, definitely raising awareness about kidney
Yeah.
donation and all that. Yeah, that's cool. So what you said you kind of working on your golf and off that, and I know right now you're working with Will Eldrenkamp.
Yeah.
Is that how I say it?
William Eldrenkamp.
William Eldrenkamp. Yeah, at Legacy. And I can tell that you're swinging it the fastest you've ever swung it in your life. You're hitting it straighter than you've ever done.
Yeah.
And, I feel like as we've had so many coaches throughout like the last 20 years or whatever it is.
17.
Yeah. And I think as humans, people are always like trying to find that one solution to like a problem they're always facing, right? And they think, all right, this is the solution. Like this is the magic cure for it. But that's what we went through with coaches.
Yeah.
So like what changed for you, to like where you went from not hitting it very good for like a few years, going through that slump, to like getting really good now with that William.
I mean, William Will. So yeah, so like you said, we've been to many coaches, and personally, we started off with a good coach, then we moved here to Golf Academy. I had a good coach there, and then I went off to college, and it was just hard for me. So to find a coach I gelled with, then I found one at Savannah Harbor, Andrew Rice, and then I moved to Scottsdale, and I tried out a coach, didn't like him, and then William was at the same academy, so he's the kind of person who's like, he wants to help, so he's like, hey, like I'll help you. So he started helping me a bit, and we became good friends. We understand each other, so that's I kind of need that. I need a coach who understands me, who grows with the game as well, which he's done. So the way it's helped me is that he hits it away. He hits it very far. He knows how to hit it
he's
very
like
far.
360 or something, isn't he?
Huh?
He's like 360 yards or something.
Yeah,
doesn't he?
360 yards. Like what?
Yeah.
What? So he knows how to hit it very far, and he basically taught me how to do that, like using the ground force. Like no one's ever told me that. Like use the ground to get power. No one's told me that. So I went from swinging my driver 92 miles per hour, well, 91 in 2019. If I swung it hard, my highest was 92, and I would swing out of my shoes. Till about almost a year, till about 6 months ago, I started. Everything clicked, and I started. One day I just like swung at 95, and I haven't looked back since. I've gone to like 98. So like there are things like it's taken us a few months. It's taken us over a year to figure out a way to communicate the knowledge, because I like things simple. So if we finally figure out a way how to simplify what he's trying to tell me so I can understand it. So that's helped. And also like off course at the gym, you're my trainer.
Yeah, I mean, not taking too much credit or anything.
Yeah, like, I mean, it also helps off the course. You need to work out. At least I think so. So I'm like lifting heavier than I ever have ever lifted.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot easier to swing harder, but also stronger to control control it better.
Speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think definitely like as the whole industry in general, the golf fitness, there's this whole thing about this is how you're supposed to do things.
Yeah.
This is the right answer. So a lot of coaches definitely like fit into that. All right, if you do this, you're gonna get this outcome all the time.
Yeah, there's not like one swing for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. So like I think the best coaches are the ones who kind of understand their student, understand how they move, how they how they think, and try to break it down for them so they can actually work with that information instead of just telling them this is what you should do and this is how it's going to be, and if you do that, it's going to be perfect.
Yeah, and like with Will, if you have an injury, he's going to work around that for you so you don't feel pain, but you still get the maximum amount.
Yeah, when you say injury, it's more like if you have a long-term injury, not like you hurt your toe last week. So let's just overhaul your swing.
Yeah, a long-term injury.
Yeah.
So that's helped.
I get it. Yeah. So I know with competition, how's that going? With when we were growing up, there was always competition between you and me, right?
Sadly, now you don't play.
Yeah, I mean, I play sort of, but there was a time when, do you remember that, or you were like really good, and then I was like somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
And then I became the person who was supposed to make it.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, things hit the fan, and but yeah, how did that kind of influence your career? All those competitions and all that.
I mean, it definitely helped that I had someone to compete against. Like, and now it's just over the years, it's helped in a way that I can handle I could handle competition at a certain point, and now I worked on myself to handle even more. It's helped me like to not accept failure, like not failure, but I don't like losing. Like with you, I always I had to win somehow, and that's kind of transitioned into pro golf for me. Yeah, I mean it's a bummer that you're not playing professional golf.
Yeah, but
with
I
me.
mean, I still put up a fight, all right?
Yeah, you still put up a fight. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But I'm still the best.
I mean, I guess on paper, but it's all right. We get there. Yeah. I still have about 25 years left.
Yeah, I mean, you can still do it. Just that men's golf is just the men's golf is just a lot tougher. Like they just 10 under par every day.
Yeah, so going on that, a lot of people talk about how the men are shooting solo scores like 900, 800, but they kind of forget that a lot of these women golfers out there, they're going very low. It's not that easy anymore to compete on women's tours. No. There's some good golfers now.
Yeah, there are, like, for example, Q School. Last year, I've played Q School 3 times before, 2021, and for stage 1 to get to stage 2, it was always like +5 consistently, +5, +6. Last year it was +3. Like, okay, competition's getting harder. And on the Epson Tour, like, we have a cut after 2 days, and those cuts are like +1, even par, like 1 under, 2 under. So, like, it is getting hard. It is getting tough. Like, stage 2 this year, well, last year, the cut was like 4 or 5 under, top 8 to get into stage 3. Yeah. So, I mean, we are getting longer. We are getting better, and just get more fire.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely. I feel like women's golf has so much competition now. Like, people just kind of forget that it's so much fun to watch. Like, obviously the Solheim Cup is getting as big as the Ryder Cup eventually. Yeah. And all of that. So I'm excited to see where women's golf is going.
I know, me too. It's like, I am. Yeah. I'm excited.
What do you have? I know you have a lot of friends on tour now, and how is that? The dynamic with everyone on the now Epson Tour. Yeah. Like, how do you guys interact with each other and all that?
I mean, I do have a few friends. We talk on Instagram. We like have if we find me and this other girl, she finds something that could help the career, she tells me. If I find something that would help our career, I tell her. So we help in that way. She works with Backswing as well, so that helps. Like, a lot of girls who play the Epson Tour are starting to work with Backswing, so it helps that we see each other outside the competitive circuit tour. And then a lot of girls stay here in Arizona.
Scottsdale is the golf capital of the world, so.
Yeah, so I'm yet to reach out and play a round of golf with them, but it'll happen eventually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool. No, I mean, with the whole, with the whole pandemic and all that, it kind of changed a few things with the tour last year.
It was an interesting pandemic.
Yeah.
I think that's the longest we spent time together.
Yeah, and yeah.
I didn't want to be around you after that. At least for a little bit.
It's fine. I mean, I only see you every once in a while now because you're always traveling.
That's true.
Except on off season, obviously.
Yeah. But then still, like, you leave early, come back.
Yeah, I mean.
And by the time you come back, I'm asleep.
Yeah. I mean, that's life.
And then you leave again for school.
Yeah. But how's fitness going, outside of golf?
Good. Like I said, you and I have been working together
2 months almost.
2 months now.
Yeah.
So I've gotten a lot stronger than I was working out making my own programs. So, I mean, it's been good. It's been going good. I just lifting heavier. I mean, I feel stronger. So I'm enjoying working out.
Yeah.
Now.
There's definitely that whole, with that whole shift with the whole golf industry. Like, 20 years ago, people were like, it's golf. The golfers aren't athletes. Yeah. Now you have people, Nelly Korda hitting it, 300 yards almost.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah, and then this whole, like, the industry shifting into golf-specific fitness is like a whole science. And, so.
Yeah, to be honest, I never really understood the whole golf-specific fitness because, I mean, you got to build a base. Yeah. And that is like your deadlifts, your back squats, and they're like, oh, golfers don't do that. I'm like, no, golfers do that. That's basically how you generate power. Using the ground.
Like Bryson DeChambeau.
Yeah, like
man just got 300 pounds heavier or something like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, in my opinion, I don't like golf specific I just love lifting.
Yeah,
So
definitely. Obviously, the stronger you are, the
yeah,
faster you're gonna swing.
yeah,
Because so that's all. I'm very excited to see like that shift in golf as well, with like more people lifting to get to hit the ball further, as opposed to just doing endless amounts of wood chops like
Yeah.
cable swings.
I mean, lifting is what Tiger Woods started,
Yeah.
and now it's catching up.
Yeah.
Now it's getting popular. Like Tiger Woods knew what he was doing.
Yeah. Well, it was it's been fun having you on the show over here. Obviously, it is the first episode we've ever had, and it was a fun conversation, really.
It was fun actually talking to you.
Yeah, I mean, I think I never have a sit-down conversation with you about things.
Yeah, no, we don't.
So
We're either watching TV or you're saying something and I'm not listening.
yeah, but it was nice having you.
It was nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and where do you think people can find you? Drop that IG handle maybe.
Well, people can find me on Instagram at the real Nikita Arjun. So it's the real Nikita and Nikita Arjun. So it's one A.
So it's your full name.
My full name with a single A.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, that is all we have for today, and I am excited to eventually having you on here more.
Yeah, I will be happy to.
Well, thanks for listening, and that is the end of our first ever episode of Backstage Athlete. So, thanks for listening.